Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Kitchen talk. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about?
Hey,
It jammed on it. It jammed. And it's like that. It's like that kind of grown people vibe.
yeah,
I
that's
love
good.
it.
Yeah, that take you back to when.
I love it. I love it. When she did it for me, she took what I said and just gave me what I needed, and I was like, yes.
That's the music that when you finally grew up, you start vibing with that you thought you was grown. That's when you knew you was grown. You hear that?
Yeah. Let's talk.
Time.
What you want to talk about? Let's talk. Oh, shout out to Michael Joy Barrington. I appreciate you, girl, so much.
That was beautiful.
Oh my
Neo soul.
It was, and I was like, look, I need it to be smooth, grown people music. Yeah, she did
I don't
that.
even drink, but you can have a little brown liquor in your hand right there, swirl it around. That's that brown liquor smooth right there. Girl, you so
Oh
great.
my goodness. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is Kitchen Talk CTC, Conversations That Cook. Super excited to be here today. Our March was crazy. We did a lot of repeats for the month of March because everybody was just everywhere. So it's really cool to be here in this moment. Thank everybody for joining us. And thank you, Dr. Yanela McLeod.
Hello, that's me.
For joining me tonight.
I'm happy to be here. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me again, Lisa.
Absolutely. I'm trying. Well, we won't talk about that, but I still need my special.
One day when I'm brave enough.
We gonna work on it.
When I'm brave enough. All you have to do is put the little symbols over my mouth.
Oh my goodness. So tonight, in our continuation of celebrating Women's History Month or just celebrating women, period, which I think ought to be done every day anyway. For our many contributions to society. We want to
the world.
Yeah, the world. Yeah. I'm telling you, they say, who was it, James Brown? It's a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing.
Nothing without a woman or a girl. He covered all bases.
You better believe it. I'm trying to tell you. So we're going to do our Black Girl Magic 2. So we did this. McLeod, I was looking, and we actually had this conversation in March of 2021.
Really?
It's been 3 years.
That's unbelievable.
It is, isn't it?
That's been unbelievable. I was talking to somebody today about my wedding anniversary is coming up in April, and so is my husband's birthday in April. And it jarred me, and I was like, "Oh my God." And she said, "Well, did you almost forget?" I said, I don't forget it, but I just didn't realize we were already in April. Like April just snuck up on us. And so time is just like been a warp. Has it been like that to you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm like, where did the where what you know I think not too long ago we were sitting with my pastor and just talking about some stuff and whatever, and it was like we in December, and all of the things that we thought we were gonna plan and do, they just it was like it's December.
The time has come and gone.
And it was like, what is going on?
And this was pre-pandemic. Time was popping before we hit the pandemic. Then when the pandemic came and
It's
just
warp speed
everything
now.
froze, you kind of like lost all track of time. And when it came back, it was zoom, like it was trying to make up for that lost year.
Really. I'm like, good gracious. So yeah. So it's been like 3 years since we had that discussion.
That's
Hey,
bananas.
Charmaine, how are you?
I am well. I'm well.
Good, 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 good. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I like the new look.
Oh, I'm trying, child. Trying to keep up with y'all young people.
I can't keep up, so I don't even try to keep up anymore.
Yeah. Are you still in California?
Yes, I'm in California in Long Beach with now 2 daughters.
You had a baby.
I did. She's 1. So, yes. It took a little minute to get her to quiet down. She was like, "Where are you going?" So, yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, time flying by for you too then, huh?
Time is really flying. I'm like, wait, I looked up. I'm like, I just had you. You're 1.
And you're 1 already, right?
Yeah. The other one, I'm like, I just had you and you're 8. Like, what's going on?
Ooh. 8?
8. I know, right? 8.
Are you sure?
According to her growth charts, she according to her birthday, she's 8. But I'm like, I just had you.
I remember when you was pregnant with that baby.
And she's almost taller than me.
Oh wow.
I mean, she didn't have much. I mean, she didn't have to. It didn't take much to get to my height. Still,
that's true.
like
Wow.
very hurtful. I'm like,
oh my goodness.
Grow up, please.
She said that thing is hurtful.
It is. Like, oh my god. Because they're aging, that means I'm aging. That means there's a lot going on.
Well, they can age all they want to. I'm a hold fast to this one I got right here. I'm a hold fast to 50.
Yes.
I've been like in the decades. I don't, I
Yeah.
don't claim the 1s, the 2s, the 3s.
Right.
When I turned 40, it was wonderful. When I turned 30, it was wonderful. When I turned 50, it was wonderful. So that's all I'm turning. I'm just gonna do
turning the decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. My
So
best
I'll be 50 till I see what 60 look like.
I love it. I love it.
I look forward to 40 and 50. I heard it's great over there. 30, I still care about what people say.
Come join us, honey.
You won't though. I'm telling you, when you turn 30, Charmaine, you're gonna be like,
I am 30.
When she turns.
Yes.
This is where you get your wisdom. 30 is when you start connecting the dots.
Yeah.
If mama told me this or Miss So-and-so told me this, and I remember that. So all those dots start connecting. So your wisdom starts keeping up. And then by the time you hit 40, you feel pretty good in your little wisdom vibe. And now you're starting to say, all this stuff I was worried about, that was kind of a waste of time.
Right.
And then when you get closer to 50, you get to cuss and have wisdom and tell the people to kick rocks. Like, Grant, you really don't care.
You didn't get that at 30 though, because when I turned 30, it was like, okay, this is my life. I can no longer live it to please all of these people around me. I'm done. I quit my job. I just did all kind of stuff. Well, I quit a job at 40 also.
Lisa,
I
this is
didn't
not good advice.
I didn't quit a job at 50. I actually got a new job, a better job at 50. But I didn't quit a job. But at 30 and 40, that
Out
was
of there. Out of there. I switched careers like I switched careers. I'm still acting,
uh-huh.
but I added, like I'm acting and I
Okay.
realized I'm like, oh, it's okay to have two passions and it's okay to live in both.
Absolutely.
But
They
that
go
happened
together.
when I turned 30. So I guess the dots are connecting.
Yeah.
They're
The
connecting.
love, it comes on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
comes
they
on
go
at 30.
together. Whatever they are, they go
Yeah,
together.
and they
And
go
one
together,
reps
right?
for the
And
other.
then
And you're
one
gonna
feeds
find
the
many
other,
more.
the other feed, they feed each other. They
Yeah.
support each other. They're
Mhm.
in a very supportive, healthy relationship.
Yes. 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 That is so beautiful. So listen, we're here talking about this Black Girl Magic 2. So this is our second one. And I love it. I love it. I love it because it's like we get to kind of say that we're great, and I don't like this word arrogant, but sometimes I feel a little like I could be a little boastful sometimes. Sometimes
Well,
I
I
should
mean,
be able to pat my own self on the back sometimes.
What'd you say, Charmaine?
I'm like, but I don't think that's arrogant. That's just confidence. You're able to be confident in who you are. You're able to walk with your chest up, your head up. I think we've been told, like, to make ourselves smaller, but that's
Mm.
the devil is a lie. You know what I mean? So yeah, spread your wings. Stick out your chest, pat yourself on the back, because when a man does that, he's confident.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't find that to be arrogant. I find that to be you being confident in who you are, and taking up the space that you're supposed to take up and occupy.
I love it.
Very good.
Hello, she's 30 now.
Dr. Dawson used to say, I can't trust nobody until they turn 30. She said, you 30 yet? Can't trust you.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
I
goodness.
don't know why, because I didn't have it together in 20s. I didn't have it together.
Oh my goodness. So let's explore this. What would you say that you are the proudest of as a Black woman, or being a Black woman?
It's a good one, Lisa.
I know, I know.
Who you asking?
Yeah, you didn't say who go first.
It don't matter who go first. It just take it up.
Charmaine, I'm gonna pitch that one to you. I want to hear what the young people got to say about that.
You know what? When I saw that question, I said that the first thing that came to my mind was the ability to adapt.
Mm.
Under any circumstance, under any situation, no matter what room I'm in, no matter what space I'm in, the ability, and I'm talking about, we as women, especially Black women, we go through some dark phases, and unfortunately, we don't have the space to really feel, right? And to really be in those spaces to just heal ourselves. So sometimes we have to adapt. We have to make the adjustment to continue to put one foot in front of the other. But on a positive note, we also can adapt to, we could be in a room full of billionaires and we walk and we can talk just like we're a billionaire. You know what I mean? We can be in a room full of, poor people, and we can walk and talk with these same people and support these people. So I think we have especially for me, I've been in several positions where I have had to adapt, and I've had to do it very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that we do that goes unnoticed because it's almost an expectation. But to me, that's superhuman power, to be able to adapt and to be able to pay attention to what's going on around you, to your surroundings, and adapt in the moment.
I definitely would agree that as Black women, we are expected to handle whatever is thrown our way, whatever cards we are dealt. It's just like, oh, well, you'll be okay. You know how to do it. I mean, and that even comes down from like our parents. Like, I would, come be like, Mom, such and such. She was like, okay, take care of it. And then you'd
You'll
be
be
like,
all right.
well, okay, I just take care take care of it. But I think it is something that definitely is ingrained in us to be strong and be able to just go with the flow and adjust and adapt, like you say. Um, and
And I,
and and maybe even sometimes to our detriment.
Mhm.
Which I want to say in the sense of I've been in a workspace, right? And something goes lacking and you just kind of pick up the slack, and then all of a sudden that's just that's just what
Job
you're
now.
supposed to do, and they don't ever get anybody to come back and do that because you done handled it,
Mhm.
or because things got to go on.
Mhm.
So sometimes I do think our ability to do that can hurt us a little bit, because if we don't let balls drop, then sometimes change doesn't come, or we don't get the help we need.
Mhm.
absolutely. And it's so funny when you, Charmaine, use the word adapt, because when I was driving home today, I was thinking about this whole, what is Black girl magic, and what does that really mean? What's the essence of it? And the word was adapt in my head, was the ability to adapt in these different circumstances, even in at the when you're functioning at a level of excellence in whatever you do. You are adapting to that goal. You're adapting to the ability to achieve at the best. Um, and and then of course we have just the little we have the we have the gifts and talents that come, that are a part of our culture and a part of our DNA, that help us excel when we put our mind to it. But that word adapt was really what I was associating with that magic side of it. And like you said, Lisa, I do want us to not get lost in the celebratory nature of the magic word either, because there's nothing magic about what Black girls are doing. There is intentionality, there's hard work, there's focus, um there is a whole process
Mhm.
behind achieving, doing, that we have to acknowledge is occurring. The magic
Mhm.
is just how amazing some of these things turn out to be, even in that survival
Yeah.
aspect of it. And so, like, your question was,
What are
what
you
was
the
the
most what are you the proudest of being a Black woman?
yeah, well, and I would think one of the things is not
Mm.
crumbling when things get hard or
Mhm.
have gotten hard, and still standing the test, still moving forward, in that strength. And even in the strength of when you're hurting, or when you're down, that you still move forward. I think that's something that I'm proud of, that I haven't buckled under all of the pressure, much of which I put on myself.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm. And
Mhm.
we do.
Mhm.
Because I will be honest, I have a little bit of perfectionist in me.
Well, you in an AA meeting.
We sound like Alcoholics Anonymous.
Right.
My name is Lisa, and I'm a perfectionist. Hi, Lisa.
Yeah.
I've been
I haven't let it go.
Let it go, girl, because it's gonna get to take you out of here.
I know, right? And I think about when I think about that too, I think about how of course I am just my many hats that I wear, my many talents, my many creativity and all of that, and how I will not put my stuff out there if it is not
A1.
pristine, right? But then I see other stuff and I'm like, how in the world?
Who put that there?
You know how in the world? because the time we spend trying to make it perfect, the other people are not. They just doing
No,
it.
they just doing it.
They're doing it, and they're in that space, and they're evolving and functioning in
Yeah.
it. And we sitting back trying to make sure every
I'm
little
trying.
hair is laid down
I
before we
need
set
every
out there.
T crossed, every I dotted. I
And
need
3
all of
years.
that
When you
in a
do that,
row.
there's also no room for growth. And I think that's one thing that I've had to teach myself the last like year or two. It's like you're just gonna have to fall on your face, sweetheart, and fail because you're not gonna grow any other way. I've been
Mhm.
such a perfectionist to the point of, oh, I didn't get any notes. Great. And then one day I was like, well, now wait a minute, I'm paying for this, so I better get some notes here.
And
Yeah.
that's not failing. That's not failing. That's being open, like you said, to growth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
they do it, and by the time we look up, 3 years has passed, and it's still not
and
right,
it's still
still not
right.
perfect.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's crazy. I think one of the things that makes me the most proud to be a Black woman, and it falls kind of in the line of what we were just saying, it's just resilience.
Mhm.
It's just resilience. I mean, just admiring other Black women and knowing some of their stories and knowing where they come from. I think about my mom, who was told that she would never walk, or was told that she would never have children, and how she just never gave up on that. It was like, oh, okay, well, that's what you say, whatever. And she walked, played volleyball, did whatever, climbed trees, and she did. And then she birthed 3 children. So just our, again, ability to adapt, but our resilience.
I love that.
Our resilience, I think that is one of the things, and I think it is ingrained in us. When you think about the history of the African American woman, um, being brought over and the things that were done to her, and we are still here and yet shining.
Mhm. Mhm. And when you're talking about that pride, and I know that we could probably all relate to this, that resilience, I think, is a part of our inheritance from our mothers. I think one of the things that I am most proud of is that I am my mother's daughter. I'm the
Mm,
daughter that my mother, um, I'm walking in what she wanted me to walk in. And I'll
mm,
never forget my mother saying to a crowd of people that my family's nickname for me is Mio. And she said, Mio makes me feel like I am a good mother, like I was a
oh,
good mother.
Mm,
oh,
mm,
Come on now.
yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
And
yeah.
and Charmaine, and I can only handle one of them. I don't know how people do two, three, four. I'd have been done lost 3 of my children at the Piggly Wiggly, and where they at? I don't know. So applaud to you. But every day I question: Did I mess up? Am I doing it right?
Mhm.
Am I breaking this kid? Like, am I gonna ruin his life?
I mean,
Because of
the
the
reality is there are gonna be we gonna break a little, we might break their feelings sometimes, you know. And even like I think it's so interesting because I think about when you mentioned your mom, I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. Like my mom, my mom is funny. She will never say it while I'm around. She will never let me hear it, but I will hear through the grapevine, like, hey, your mom said this about you. And I'm like, oh, okay, she do trust me. She do. My mom is that kind of mom. And I think it was necessary for her to be that kind of mom for me. 'Cause she was a different mom. She has 3 girls, and each one of us, we laugh about it, but each one of us got a different mom. But it
Mm.
was based on our personalities.
Absolutely.
Very hard on, like, for me, it was like she's very hard. It was like, this is the expectation, this is what you're gonna do. And I'm the one in California doing my dream, on the grind. And then for my older sister, she, I call her the mistake baby because she was number one. So she
made all the mistakes.
she was trying to figure her out. But so she was figuring out parenting with her. And so my sister, sometimes she got a little harder, sometimes she got a little easier. It was, give or take, hot and cold with that one. And then my younger sister, she was just coddled. She was just, that's the baby. That's her. And to this day, yeah, I'm like, yeah, you eat that one up, because my younger sister got her location. And she will call her and be like, why are you at this store? What do you do for me? What do you, she will, so that's her little bugaboo. But each one of us, based off of her parenting, came out very different. All of us very successful, but very different. And it made sense. Like, it made sense. And even for my girls, I call one of them, my oldest one, that's my sweet baby. That baby is sweet as pie. This new one is a little sassy.
Already?
Yes, Lisa. A lot of her mother.
Where did she get that from?
She's got a lot of her mother in her. So I see why my mom figured out how to raise me. And why she had to be a little bit more harder on me. I see it. I see this one. I'm like, oh, you're going to give me a run for my money. The oldest one, I'm like, she's so sweet. She's so kind. Like, I had to teach her how to stand up for herself. And even that's still a problem. Like, we're still working on that one. You know what I mean? Child is in Taekwondo. And she came home and was like, I used my Taekwondo. I said, good job, baby. But she, she's just very sweet, like, she's my MLK. Oh. Another one. Yes. She gonna get to jump on you before you get to jump on her.
I like that.
Like, that's her mama.
I love it.
And that was your mother adapting to each of y'all's personalities.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Adapt her mothering. She maintained her standards, but she had to adapt, because you can't raise one like you raise the other.
Everything don't work for everybody. Yeah.
It certainly didn't work for me.
But I mean, if I'm telling you, Charmaine, if you look at it, all of us had different relationships with my mother too. So it's true. When you have good parenting, they know who needs what.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And they're not, what I loved about her is she wasn't afraid to use what she needed to use for this child or for that child. And all of us would look at each other and be like, oh, you the favorite. Oh, you the favorite. Oh, you the favorite. Mm-hmm. They all know I'm the favorite. But I let them have their moments, whatever. But
we used to ask our mama, like, we would say, who is 4 of us? I'm the only girl, 3 boys, 2 ahead of me and 1 under. And one of us would say, Mama, who's your favorite? She'd say, you. Whoever asked, she would say, you.
But when we all come together, we all realize she spoiled us all.
Mm-hmm. Every last one of them.
She spoiled us all, because that's what she believed.
That's her ability. Yeah.
That's what she believed. She believed. Yeah. Yeah.
I have to tell my brothers that. She did. That we were all spoiled.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a good way. I mean,
in a good way. Yeah. We didn't have behavior and all that kind of issues. We weren't back talking grown folks and all. No, my mama was little, but she
mighty. My mom was little and very mighty. And my mom, talking about, like, I'm just thinking about this story her and I just went over last week. This is how good she raised us. We were in elementary school. It was pouring down, raining. Her car broke down. So she said, you guys can stay home. And she thought we were going to be like, yay. We all started bawling, crying. Oh. And she's like, what is wrong? What happened? She was like, we all just looking at her like, we want to go to school. Oh. I was so mad because I had to get on the bus in the pouring rain.
Take y'all to school.
And take y'all to school.
See, that's the spoiling part. Because and we're gonna spoil you by sending you to school because that's what you want, instead of just saying get your tail in the house.
Right.
She yielded to that because she thought that was Felt that
Yeah,
that's what you needed in
but
that moment.
but also like who has kids that's like we want to go to school.
Right.
Like, and I remember that day, and I remember being like, well, I want to be here. I want to go to school. I want to learn. I want to, you know what I mean? But all of us, every last one of us, we went to college, we went to graduate school, all three of her kids. And you're talking about a woman who got pregnant in high school, who, you know what I mean? While her oldest two were in college, she was doing online college.
Oh.
So
Wow.
yes, this is my mother. You know what I mean? And she used to say we was the spoiledest, poorest kids she knew. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
"Oh, you were."
That's really some black girl magic right there. I love it. I love it. I love it. Our mommies. Kudos to the mommies.
Kudos
Woo.
to the mom.
Kudos to the mommies. I love it. So yeah, so that would be that. Now my next question, guys, is what scares you the most about being a black woman? And I'm gonna start. I think one of the things that scares me the most is not being seen and heard.
Mm.
When it, I don't want to say when it really counts, but I kind of want to say when it's life and death.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
when
That's
when I
good.
hear the statistics and the horror stories of offering hysterectomies to 20-some-year-old women, or I'm telling you that my body doesn't feel right, and you just like, oh, suck it up and you'll be okay. Or if I'm having some kind of mental thing that's going on or emotional thing, it's like, oh, well, suck it up. Black women strong, you be all right, that sort of thing. So I think that is one of the things that scares me the most as a black woman. And being, if you're too vocal, it's like, oh, you just angry, you just an angry black woman, or you gotta suffer in silence, that sort of thing. So I think that's one of the things that scares me the most about being a black woman.
But you know what? And that's such a valid fear. Um, but into it to add to that to kind of alleviate some of that fear
Mm-hmm.
is because issues are being made more aware
Mm-hmm.
about what Black women are dealing with. There's so many things to support and equip you to be empowered in
Mm-hmm.
order to speak have your voice and
Mm-hmm.
stand up for yourself. And we have the freedoms and the conveniences that our mothers may not have had, to where
Mm-hmm.
you can leave a doctor, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
go find
Yeah.
another one just like that. That kind of thing. I think
Mhm.
though, as we get older, we have to think about that fear, Lisa, and also set up something in place for who's going to advocate for me if I am vulnerable, like if I cannot care for myself, or if
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the hospital and I'm saying I don't feel well and someone's not listening to me, having a support system that will advocate for us. So a part of that is setting that up now, because we're all going to get older,
Mm-hmm.
and so we have to have someone who can be our advocate. But that's a good one.
Yeah.
I
But
can add,
just flip it and know that you empower yourself,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that that's an issue, and empower yourself with everything you need to move past that fear, so you're not working and operating in that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
and just
sorry.
to add to that, one of the things, because I've had an issue, actually I dealt with that, of not being heard in the medical system, um and almost dying twice. you
Oh,
know and the one thing that saved me is having a midwife, a Black midwife. And my Black best friend, she was the one who pointed me in that direction and going in the holistic care route. I still had my regular doctor, but it was the midwife who ended up saving me and my baby's life.
Oh wow.
And that's because she's a Black woman, right? She knows the issues, she knows what's going on, and she was able to, empower me by giving me the right verbiage, the right verbiage, and the things to say, and the signs to look for, and how to properly communicate with these doctors so that they get past what I look like and they go straight to the issue. And so I think if we equip ourselves in that way, holistic care is expanding. But that was something we had back in our communities way before hospitals, because we weren't initially allowed to even be in hospitals. Hospitals weren't initially made for Black people, right? So once it became a thing of money, then they were like, we need these Black people to go into these hospitals. That's when insurances came up, and that's when all of these things came about, and that's when the whole holistic care system went away for us. But we used to have our own doctors and midwifery care come to our homes and do house visits, and that's how we took care of ourselves. So I think going back into community and finding you someone who knows the system, right? It can help you essentially infiltrate the system. And tell you what to say, and tell you, and that's in every aspect, right? Find you, for people looking for a house. Kara, my best friend, they got them a house, but they had a Black realtor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got them on the right path to get what they need to get done, right? So going back to community and empowering yourself within each other, within us, I think that can also help alleviate some of that fear.
And it's also important to know that whole empowerment part, and when we have our doctors, we tend to trust their care. And that could be, some of our doctors are Black doctors, and like I had to leave one fairly recently, Lisa, with the medical issue that I was dealing with, because that doctor was not moving with a sense of urgency. And I ended up, having some long-standing damage. But my thing was, at some point I was stuck, because in order to move to a different doctor, you had to be referred, right? And so I had to figure out a way how to maneuver that. But my whole point was, I was trying to figure out a way how to maneuver that, because I was in pain and I needed to get some care. And so that's coming from knowing, with the whole voice and the dialogue that's saying that Black women are ignored, or that people aren't taking our issues seriously. And I mean, your doctor might even be Black, like mine was. I had to go find another one, but I knew I had to get something done. And so that self-empowerment, I think, is really going to can move people past the fear.
Yeah.
You walk into your own. I tell you that story all the time about when I was having that issue. I was in my 20s, and Charmaine, I went to a doctor because I was having some issues with my cycles. They were heavy and all kinds of stuff. And it was a white male doctor, and he did a biopsy, did not tell me it was going to hurt. And so I'm screaming, okay, a vaginal biopsy.
Wow.
Cervical biopsy, and I'm a uterus biopsy in my uterus. And so that pissed me off, because I was in pain. He didn't warn and say, okay, this is going to hurt. And personally, I don't even think it had to have hurt. I didn't think it had to hurt. I think he just did that, didn't take care, because of who I was. And then when I came back for the results, he walks in and he says, so when are we going to take this thing out? And I think I was 26 years old. And I told Lisa this story. And I said, excuse me. I said, what did you say? And he said, when are we going to take this thing out? I said, are you talking about my uterus? Just totally dismissive. That I said, what brings life? You're going to call a thing. That's what's in my head. I told that man, I said, you know what? Don't even worry about it. I got my purse and I left him and everything in that room and walked out. Didn't even pay the bill. I said, I'll see y'all later. But I just came into that in my own. I was in my 20s. And to me, that was just deplorable. and it struck a chord.
Mhm.
That's when I started realizing, and I felt proud of myself, in the car. I was like, you really can advocate for yourself. And sometimes that's knowing when to just walk away and leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I mean, just imagine how many women he did get like that.
Girl.
You think they ain't have no choice?
And then when I went and got a black woman, she did everything in her power to keep me healthy in time for me until the time came for me to be able to have a child. You know what I mean? That was
Mhm.
everything, because she knew I wanted to have children and I wasn't married, and all these types of things. So she was trying to keep me healthy. So when that happened, I'd be able to have a kid. And then when I got pregnant, she took immaculate care of me. So these types of things are life and death, and
Yeah.
you have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think one of my biggest fears, if I may, and I'm not going to say it's a fear, but it is one of my deepest concerns, is the growth and development of my son, and trying to being concerned that I might miss some type of barrier or trap that he might fall into. Um,
Mm.
or as he learns the world as a little black boy who's going to turn into a black man, how that's going to affect him emotionally. How do
Mhm.
we make sure to keep him healthy when he has to learn? He has to be told, what do they call it when you have to tell him they came up with a whole thing about the story or whatever, when you talk to him about
The top.
the talk. When you have the talk, if you have to make sure you have it the right way, so it's not robbing him of his innocence, but it's still making him aware of the world that he has to maneuver. And then like my mother told me, because I have three brothers, she said, I may be in the bed, but I do not fall asleep until all three of my sons are in the house.
Mhm.
And I totally get it with this little boy.
Mhm.
You don't know what could come at him. You know what I mean? That he has to make a decision in a moment, and in that decision, what's going to be the repercussion, if any.
Mhm.
So just keeping him safe mentally and emotionally and physically, because the world out there is not kind to
This.
black boys. And I have a husband who never tells me anything that he thinks might concern me. And I just
Mm.
happened to hear him talking to one of his boys one time about a police officer stopping him and what he went through. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And so those types of things are frightening.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's why you got to stay prayed up, honey. Them old people say you got to
Absolutely.
cover them in the blood.
Go get some Crisco. Put it on.
That oil. Come and let me anoint your head before you go to
Right.
the
Right.
You ask my son, Gordon, what's that dripping off your forehead?
Ooh, the baby wake up greasy.
My mom out of control. That's what it is. Oh.
Oh my goodness. What about you, Charmaine?
The word expectation keeps popping in my head.
Mm.
Mm.
But I think it goes back to that perfectionist thing.
Mm.
Black women, we are dying at astronomical rates of heart disease, diabetes, all of these things, right? And the underlying issue we all know is what? Stress.
Stress.
Mm.
Stress. And I think a lot of our stress comes from the expectations that society has put on us, but the expectations that we have put on ourselves that we've accepted from society. A lot of which I am trying to break myself.
Mm.
Hello, I'm Charmaine, and I am I'm still a addict here. Um, but expectations, I don't know about you guys, but I find myself reaching beyond the stars because I'm the only black girl in the room, and so I gotta
Mm.
prove myself. I gotta prove myself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So while everybody else is doing the bare minimum to get by, I'm going above and beyond. And then the
Yeah.
process losing sleep.
Yeah.
And now I'm sleep deprived and still going above and beyond. And I may have missed 2 or 3 meals trying to just get this job done or whatever the case may be. That expectation thing, man. It'll make
Charmaine, let me tell you, sweetie, you are not reaching, you don't have to reach and go above and beyond because of other people's expectations of you. You already function at a high level. That's just you. You're gonna bring your best, and it's going to be excellent. Once you hit that 40 range, when we talk about, and you look around and you see how your mediocre is somebody else's best, you don't even have to put that stress on you.
right. Right. That's why I said I'm looking forward to 40 and 50. I'm trying to get over there.
Here's the beauty about it, though. In your 30s, you're getting wisdom from 40s,
Yeah.
you're getting wisdom from 50s, you're getting wisdom from 60s. So you don't even have to experience these things. What you can do is identify them and then say, ooh, that's what Miss Lisa was talking about.
Right.
Let me maneuver that. So get your rest, baby. You got them 2 babies in there, that them the only things that should be keeping you up like that.
Ooh.
We have Lisa and I, and my husband told me one time I was working. Oh my God, I would work all day at work and then leave at night and then come home and keep working. And he said, if you took the amount of hours and divided it up by your salary, you are making illegal immigrant wages. He
That
said,
sounds
"What are
about
you?"
right.
He said, "What are you doing?" And
That sounds about right.
30s.
Yeah.
He was like, "You got to think about your quality of life," and
We
that
do.
helps shift me. And not to say that I don't still slide into those molds, but when I'm in them, I start recognizing it and pulling myself back out. But
Yeah.
your best is gonna be your best, and you're gonna always strive for that because it's in you.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as you're not trying to compare yourself to anybody else, but you're just trying to be the best you that you are,
Yeah.
you're gonna rise because your best is the best.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you.
But yeah, so take them other people's expectations off.
Yeah, I'm working on it, I'm working on it. And again,
And I agree, because it has been kind of instilled in us, oh, you got to be 10 times better. You got to just be you, because you're already excellent.
mhm, mhm. I had to catch myself teaching my daughter that.
Yeah.
I really
Mm.
had to catch myself
Explain that. Say that.
because she's in a school, she's in a dual immersion school where she speaks Spanish the entire day. Excellent at what she does. I'm talking about, everybody's like, oh my gosh, she's amazing, right? Then she started slipping, right? And so I was like, listen, you're the only one that goes in that room that looks like you. So
Mm.
when you slip, everyone notice. Everyone notice when you make a mistake. Everyone notice when you have a bad day, and it's bigger, right? It's a bigger deal. Yes,
Mm.
other kids have a bad day because it really is a big deal. She has a bad day, then it's like we gotta call mom. We gotta
Mhm.
do all of these things. Other kids have a bad. I'm like, what do y'all do when the other kids have a bad day? Y'all calling parents? Y'all are y'all doing all the works that y'all doing for mine? So I had to give her the talk, right? And then maybe about last week or so, I just thought about it and I said, oh no, I'm not gonna create the bad habit of her taking
Mm.
on these expectations. So I just was like, you go and you be the best you can be. That's
Mm.
what you do. If your best is the 5 today, then your best is the 5 today, and you ain't got to explain it to nobody.
Mm.
Your best is a 7, honey. We're going to celebrate that 7, and you still don't have to explain it to nobody. And if your best is a 10, let's go and get some ice cream because, girl, you did that. And you still don't have to explain it to nobody.
Yeah.
But it was almost like, and I thought about, I'm like, man, when did I take this on? When did I thought about it? When I infiltrated a white space, when I went to a white school, when I was othered. The moment I was othered, that's the moment. My mom didn't do it. A Black teacher did it. You know, and I think we naturally do it to children that we see a level of excellence in.
Mm-hmm.
And we put that expectation on them to stay great and stay excellent. And come on, you can do this. And oh my goodness.
The pressure.
The pressure.
That's good.
You know, and I mean, I saw the side effects of that immediately. Immediately, she was, I mean, rejecting that because I've never been that parent. I kind of let her express herself and do, you know, as an artist, it's like, you need to go in your room and scream, go scream. You need to, you know, I've always let her be free.
Mm-hmm.
And at that moment, I realized I constricted her.
Mm-hmm.
I put her, you know, I put her in this little box and was like, you have to rise to these expectations, you know, and then I was like, okay, nope, that's not okay. We gotta go back. We gotta backtrack, you know, because these are things that I'm undoing in myself because they shouldn't have been put on me. And now I'm putting them on you.
Yeah.
And they should, and the thing about it is it's not just me though, because then I find out, oh, there's the black counselor at the school who did it, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, we gotta scale it back, dial it down. I know, look out for our own. But I think we have to reconsider how we look out for our own.
Sure. And then we also have to give a little bit of grace because all of us are evolving. Some of us are reconditioning ourselves. Some of us are peeling off again those expectations. But at the same time, we do have a level of concern, care for how our people are viewed. And sometimes we're the only representative of our people. So you still want to make sure we're viewed in a good light. You know, just it's a lot of undoing. It's a lot of undoing. And I think the real root conversation to have is to get and dig in and dig up the trauma of slavery and the trauma of racism and try to pull that out because some of these things are embedded in us from that. And I was never a slave, you know, but from generation passing things down, we not only pass the gifts and the talents down, but sometimes we pass those traumas down. And so, yes, the counselor sees Kendi and says, oh my God, this is an excellent little girl. She is talented. She is gifted. I want to push that, but I also like how she represents us. And so now she's made her an ambassador without permission.
Really?
Without permission. And a lot of us have been ambassadors
without permission,
without pay or permission.
Girl, you better write that down.
Without a lot of checks at this point. A lot of checks.
Without pay or permission.
Without pay or permission. But but at the same time, we do have to, again, like you said, recognize it and then fix it in the way that you know how to fix it, which is great. But also give enough grace to the counselor to have a conversation with the counselor and say, this is what, you know, I'm doing. And not so much, don't do that to my daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. We definitely have to give each other grace as we're all learning. We're all learning. We're all evolving. I mean, even in my 50s, I'm still learning some things, you know, about myself. Or I'm learning that, okay, I'm not the 20-year-old girl no more. Even though you always thought, oh, this is me, this is my personality, this is who I'm going to be. I ain't that same Lisa at 20 as I am at 50.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Could you imagine if that's arrested development, right? If we are the same, could you? Oh,
But
I'd be a horrible wife and a horrible mother.
but also there is one aspect of me at 20 I would love to still have, and that is my happy, cheery, always smiling. I used to get that all the time. Why you always smiling?
Because you ain't had no bills and you ain't had no burden. And you ain't, girl.
But I want that again.
Okay, keep looking for it.
I want that. I used to be so positive, like nothing else, nothing bothered me, or just I used to be able. If something did bother me, I used to be able to go in my little room, let that roll off, and I'm back at it. That don't work no more. Woo,
My
child.
friend said to me one day, she said, adulting is stupid. She's 40-something years old. I said, girl, you and is.
Okay. Which actually leads me into the superpower. What do you think your Black girl magic superpower is? And I want to say that mine is my smile and my positive outlook on life. And my kryptonite to that has been life sometimes, right? So the joy that I hold in my heart, um and lifing, sometimes it I have to reach so much further down to pull that joy back up. But I want to say that is my Black girl magic superpower, is that joy that comes out through my smile and my positive and my happy.
And my happy. I like
And my
that.
happy.
I like it. You still got it too. I remember walking down the halls of FAMU, and between you and Harding, especially when I was wobbling,
She was so cute.
was Harding call me? What she call me? Weeble wobble. Wobbling.
You know what a weeble wobble is?
I have no idea. She said
It was a little toy.
it was a toy. Yes,
It was a little toy, had a round bottom.
Oh, I know
And
what those are. They,
Yeah,
you know
and
what?
the weavers wobble, but they won't
But they
fall
don't
down.
fall down. That was the cartoon.
Yes,
Wow.
she called me that. Oh goodness. But yeah, you guys were my go-to. So that's definitely your superpower.
Do you realize you got 30s, 40s, 50s?
Yeah, I
That's
just
so
realized
cool.
that. I did not know Charmaine was 30.
I just turned 30.
Okay,
She grew up on you, didn't it?
Fresh
she
30.
did. She
Happy
did.
birthday to you.
Yes.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Welcome to this side.
Thank you. It's been a long road. 20s were not so great to me.
But you survived them.
I did. And I will say my superpower is my love and my support.
Mm.
I am a great friend until I'm not your friend. Until I'm like, okay, you taking my energy away and you in mess. You and your mess gonna have to go over there because I got kids to take care of. But until then, I'm solid. I'm solid. No, I'm a really great friend and a really great supporter of any and everybody really. And I love hard and I love deep. And if you need me, I'm there. If you need me to stand in the gap for you and pray for you, I got you. I'm one of those people that when I say I pray, I'm going to pray for you, I really do pray for you.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that when you ask me to be there, if I got the time, I'm going to be there. And if I don't got the time, I'm going to make, and if you really need me, I'm going to make the time to be there. And I know that people like me are necessary. Very necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very proud of my superpower.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And before I answer that, I wanted to just make sure that your viewers know I'm not crazy. I'm not itching because because I ain't bathed or something like that. I got a little nerve issue going on and it's bothering me a little bit, Lisa. So that's why I'm
Oh,
kind of reaching, kind of rubbing. But I didn't want them to be like, "Why that lady over there twitching like that?" I have a
and
little
I
nerve.
didn't even notice that you was doing that.
Your viewers will, because they
Oh,
gonna be like, what is wrong with that lady? But it's a little nerve sensitivity, so I'm trying to tamper it down. So
mm,
um my superpower, we have so many superpowers, don't we? But I think my black girl superpower is legacy. And what I mean by that is I'm constantly walking intentionally and subconsciously in legacy. And I think that's important because if we don't maintain it, we lose it. And then we don't have a roadmap on how to manage our lives, how to even know that black girl magic exists,
mm,
those types of things. So I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm here existing because I'm a part of a legacy of very strong people.
mm,
People beyond my family, just the black population in general. When you talk about people who were enslaved, the legacy of my mother, who I'm seeing all the beauty and strength that she had that I didn't even recognize, as an adult. And
mm,
because you just see mama as mama, but walking in her legacy, um, recognizing, using my strengths, using my abilities, my intellect, caring about protecting the legacy of Black people and African American people. And so I just think just walking in legacy is a part of my Black girl superpower because I'm very appreciative of who has come before me.
mm-hmm,
And I draw from that. Um, I was telling somebody, we hear this whole phrase generational wealth, and we hear
mm-hmm.
that that's a very popular catchphrase. And I was saying, and they said, well, we don't pass on generational wealth. And I was like, do you recognize we're just really a generation or two from African American people who were paid for their labor, right? I mean, who weren't paid for their labor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, several of us, come from people. Our grandparents or great grandparents might have been sharecroppers, and
Yeah.
their grandparents were enslaved if
Mm-hmm.
they were in the United States. So I told them, I say, some of them they have no generational wealth to pass you because they were never given what they were valued in their labor, right? And
Right.
I said, to me, their generational wealth that they passed on was survival,
Mm-hmm.
that they chose to endure and to survive for the next generation. Because without that, we wouldn't be here. Can y'all imagine being enslaved,
I
being trafficked,
yeah, I can.
living in constant hell and abuse and turmoil? How many of us can survive that?
Not I.
So that
Not me.
strength, yeah, that strength of legacy, I'm very conscious of it, and it wraps me up every day.
Mm.
And I'm intentional about that, and I'm intentional about letting other people recognize
Yeah.
it too.
That's beautiful. That's very beautiful. I mean, when you think about it, how are we still here through all of that?
Legacy.
Yeah. I
Mm.
mean, from the ones who escaped to the ones who wouldn't escape, they were like, it's gonna be all right. The Lord gonna take care of us. We're gonna be out of it in a minute, or however it was that they processed and made it through. So my strength and resilience is not just from me. My adaptation
Mm-hmm.
is not just from me. It literally, again, like you said, it's the legacy that was passed down. Absolutely.
And you can tap your mother and see that legacy. You
Yeah.
can tap your grandmother and see
Yeah.
that legacy. That if you ever get an opportunity, Charmaine, and I don't know your relationship with your mother and how open she would be. Have a conversation with her about, Mama, what are some things that you struggled through, that
Mhm.
you overcame?
Oh,
Because
I tells me very close. I know she is superhuman.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so it is, my mother immigrated to this country. And
Mm.
when she got here, her first job was a maid, you know what I mean? But she got here leaving, she left my father, my biological father, because of he became abusive. So
Mm,
she pretty much fled.
mm.
I ain't know that about my mama till I was grown and mad, ready to go fight him. But my thing is, who would have known that?
Yeah,
But for her, she knew that that's unacceptable. You are not going to do that to me, and
yeah.
certainly you're not going to break me when I need to be totally complete for my children.
Mm-hmm.
So when she had two little boys and was pregnant with me and fled to a whole nother country. You see what I'm saying? Come
Wow.
on, that's the legacy that I'm in.
I'm saying that's for real right there.
Yeah.
So there are some things that I will not tolerate. There are some things that are just completely unacceptable.
Yeah,
And that got elevated learning my mother's story.
yeah.
Mm.
That's Marvin Scott is crazy.
What happened? See,
Which
that's what I'm telling you. Your whole show will be gone because
That's
they'll be
my
like,
other co-host. That's my other co-host. I'm
I
trying to
know.
say, oh my God. Thank you, Dr. Scott. But yeah, I just think that I love the way that we show up in the world as Black women. I'm down for almost all of it.
almost.
Almost all of it. However, you know what? Do you, boo? Do you? Some of it I can't do, but do you? It is our flavor that I love the most, and it becomes so. I know how magic and how Black girl magic and how Black girl special we are when the folks that ain't Black using our stuff.
Come on, word.
It's
Come
like,
on, word.
okay, it is. We got the sauce. We got the
We
sauce.
got the sauce. We got to learn how to commodify that sauce though,
Well,
because
not that too.
we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to unify to do
Yeah,
that and
yeah,
work
yeah,
together
yeah,
because they getting
yeah,
all the
Gotta
coins.
stop putting ourselves out there on the internet for the free.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That too.
Because we giving it away for free. I'm just saying.
Charmaine, you are in such a beautiful time to where you have the ability to connect, not only access things, but to connect to things that you want because of the world we're in and the technology and the social media, and that you understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, that stuff confused me, so I ain't even trying to. You talking
You
about
know,
how you can.
it's so funny that you mentioned that because I do not have social media anymore because I do understand it. Understand completely, yeah, I haven't had social media for 6-7 months now.
Really?
And I went to a couple of events. I went to an Essence event, NAACP event, several, entertainment events. And ironically, a lot of people, one of the things that they use to network is their social media. And so whenever somebody wanted to connect with me, they're like, "Oh, what's your social media?" And I would tell them, "Oh, I don't have social media." And the number one question that was asked was, "Well, how do you network?" And then I tell them, "Well, I don't network. I build relationships. So if you want to have a relationship with me and work together, by all means." And I got more connections that way versus me having a social media, because
Okay.
social media, you can scroll and look and never have to actually interact with that person. You can just heart something. You can just, you know what I mean? But if my number's in your phone and you have no way of contacting me
You
other
gotta
than
call
to
me.
reach out and call me or text me,
Yeah.
every single person actually texts me following that event and just asks me how was my day.
Wow.
And you know, we have an actual budding friendship, right? And that's how you have a real connection. And I learned that from a professor at UCLA. I'm doing UCLA classes right now, but I learned that from a professor who said, I don't believe in networking, I believe in relationships. Because networking is, you do something for me, I do something for you, and that's the end of that. But a
Mm.
relationship is, you need me, I got you. I need you, you got me. And then the next time, and we keep doing this thing over and over again. And so we can constantly create, and we can constantly, I always got somebody to call, and I always got somebody I can trust. And I said, that's it. Because I really didn't like social media. I think social media is just very, not all of it, but the vast majority of it is fake.
Yeah. It can be. But
And
it's like any tool. You can use it for good or you can use it for evil.
you can use it for evil, right? And for me, I felt like it just wasn't the space that I wanted to occupy my time.
It wasn't healthy for you.
It wasn't healthy for me, but it also was, I wanted to be more present. I wanted to be present in my life.
But you know what? That is so brave, I want to say, of you,
Mhm.
because number one, of the industry that you're in, and that is the norm, for you to not feel pressured to keep up the norm. That is very brave of you,
It hasn't
Charmaine.
had any impact.
Girl, you done turned 30 for real.
I was going to say it's very 30 wise-ish.
It is. It is. It is.
Well,
That's
you
good.
know, I want to enjoy my life. I don't want to, reach those pearly gates and God be like, so tell me.
How was it?
And I can tell you about everybody else's life, but
Mm.
I can't speak about mine.
Yeah.
I need to be
My.
present in my life. I need to feel what I'm feeling. And, I just, it was important to me. It was important to me. And
But should you return, you can do it as a business
Yeah.
um method
yes.
and get them
And the
coins.
beauty of that, I have friends who that's their job. So literally, they're like, whenever you want me to, I'm like, thank you, friend. And again, friends who will hold it down for me.
Yeah.
Who are like, you know what? I know you're doing this for you, and I like that about you, and I trust. And so, you know what? I'm gonna do this for your business and support you and whatever. And you ain't never gotta go on there. You know what I mean?
Love it.
So I'm very blessed in that way.
Charmaine, this my little theater baby just all grown up.
No, I'm old. I'm old, Lisa. I got gray hair. I'm old, Lisa. I have children.
Oh my goodness. Lord. Listen, this has been Kitchen Talk CTC, Conversations That Cook. We've been talking about Black Girl Magic 2. Oh my God, we got to do a 3 now for real. This gonna be our annual meeting spots.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yep, the last Thursday in March. So mark your calendar for 25. The last Thursday in March is our Black Girl meeting reunion.
Love it.
Oh my goodness. Thank you all. Thank you, Charmaine Shaw, for hanging out with us. Thank you, Dr. McLeod, for hanging out. Charmaine, what you got going on? Where can we see you? Where can we, I mean, not on social media, but
I had a series that was playing on Delta flights. I'm not sure if it's still on there. You can still catch me on Amazon Prime on the Underground Railroad. Like I said, I'm taking classes at UCLA. Actually, Ms. Hardin is the person that wrote my recommendation letter.
oh
Got
wow.
scholarship, so shout outs to her.
Yes.
Currently, I'm actually I have my own production company, and I'm venturing into screenwriting. So in the next few years, you will be seeing my name out there with the likes of Miss Issa Rae and Quinta Brunson.
I love it. I'm gonna have to call you offline so we could talk because I got some ideas.
Sounds good.
Congratulations.
That's
Thank
wonderful,
you.
Charmaine.
Thank
Dr. McLeod, what you got going on?
Whoo, child, keeping my head above water, making the way when you can. Oh man, my biggest thing is I am actively working to complete my documentary about Coach Jake Gaither and the golden age of HBCU football. So God has blessed me with some funding to take it to its next step, to get it closer to completion. And I've just been really intentional about making that happen, taking things off my plate, not putting other things on my plate, and just to do a little bit of something every day. And so I'm looking forward to that. And big premiere of it and all that kind of stuff. And then
Oh,
I've got some
nice.
other things that I'm trying to connect with some other people. And hopefully within a year or so, you'll be able to see me in some platforms where my voice can help move our community and our culture forward.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yes.
Love it. So, listen, if you are watching us on YouTube, I want you to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on your notifications so that you will never miss another show. If you're watching us on Facebook, hit the like button. Again, turn on those notifications so you will never miss another show. We are here every Thursday, except for when we might be having technical issues. Every Thursday, 9 o'clock on our YouTube and our Facebook Live. Thank you all so much for joining us. And we are going to be out. This has been Kitchen Talk CTC, Conversations That Cook. And I guess I'm going to let the guys back in tomorrow. I mean, next week. Even though I did invite them. They just didn't come. I did invite them this time. But I think I like it better like this when we do our reunion next year, I'm not going to invite them.
That's adorable.
We're going to say good night, good night, good night.
Good night. Thank you for having me.
Good night.
Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's